world was young, the mountains green, no stain yet on the moon was seen.
Then with a crash came a great ringing shout. Ra, boom, ra.
3 rings for the elven kings under the sky, 7 for the dwarf lords in their halls of stone, 9 for mortal men doomed to die, 1 for the dark lord on his dark throne in the land of Mordor where the shadows lie. 1 ring to rule them all, 1 ring to find them, 1 ring to bring them all, and in the darkness bind them in the land of Mordor where the shadows lie.
It's talking about Tolkien, Ben.
It's talking about Tolkien, Nate.
Chapter something, Houses of Healing. We
It
got
is Chapter 8 of Book 5 of Return of the King. The Houses of Healing. And for obvious reasons, I associate Led Zeppelin with Lord of the Rings, and I have been struggling this entire time not to call this Houses of the Holy.
I don't know why you associate Led Zeppelin with Lord of the Rings, but
half of their lyrics are like right from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I think that's just you.
That's just me. I'm the only one who's ever noticed that.
Yeah. And I don't know what aviation has to do. There aren't any planes in Lord of the Rings, so I don't even think a lead one would fly very well. I think that would just crash into the ground. So
Are you having another kid?
No.
Okay, because it seems like you're becoming more of a father as you go on.
That's how it works. It's an irreversible process.
It's oh god, what do they call that?
It's terminal,
progressive. What's for a progressive disease?
Chronic.
No,
Insidious?
degenerative
fatherhood disease.
It's degenerative fatherhood disease. Yes, your jokes just become worse and worse.
DFD.
Yeah, until eventually, no one can even bear to be around you.
And that's when I go. That's when we're like, all right, pull that plug out. I'm ready.
So I have to be honest, the Houses of Healing, not one of my favorite chapters. I would actually rank this as one of my least favorite chapters.
Is it because Herb Master Ben is in it? He's here to tell you all about the herbs and their lore, but like, I just need some herbs. Can you shut up?
It feels like it was a total tone shift from everything else in Lord of the Rings. This is one of the most out of place chapters in my opinion. I don't know if he was inspired by something else, but there's just so many references to things that only appear in this chapter. We're told were prophecies, or we're told were signs or something, or important. And we're told them.
Didn't you know that the king has magic healing powers? And
right.
He always has.
Right. And so, like, you're told that.
I don't know why he
chapter,
didn't do this when Frodo got the blade. He gave him some king's foil, but did he like rest his hand on his and like suck the worry out of his brain or whatever? And all right, I stabilized him.
Well, so there's two things. I will defend it there. Frodo was stabbed with a Morgul blade.
Yeah.
None of these people were stabbed with Morgul blades.
You know,
Frodo actually had a piece of.
Say that Theoden did. I mean, he didn't have to go out by a horse.
Pippin, change that tombstone. No, so I think that's part of it. Part of why Aragorn was not able to heal it, though Frodo lasted longer than anyone thought he would, which they attribute at least partly to him being a hobbit, and hopefully Aragorn did something. But
he was also there. Yeah.
But yeah, I think Frodo was worse off because he had a broken piece of the poison blade inside him. The rest of these people are just victims of the Black Breath. Cut off what? His shoulder?
I mean, I guess they stabbed him in the shoulder.
Yeah.
So what if they got him in like the arm and they just lopped his arm off?
Maybe. because Frodo does say that arm never feels right again.
I'm sure he'll do just fine when he sails to the west.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the gods there can do something. At the very least, they have the best painkillers. You're literally talking to the lady who invented opiates. So
Nice. Sure that
She's
won't
like,
come
yeah.
back and bite us in the ass.
she's like, no, I think I could whip you up some super poppy.
It won't get me addicted, right, Doc? No, I was told in these clinical trials that won't get you addicted at all. Anyway, here's 90 of them. Go nuts.
She didn't make the opium. She just made the poppy. You're using it incorrectly.
Oh, I see. Okay.
She also made that sweet green marijuana.
Blasphemy.
Not a single side effect from any of that.
Yeah, that
No.
often was, we need to make weed legal because there's no side effects. It's like, well,
Yeah.
it's a lot stronger than it was like 40 years ago, guys. Anyway,
so the Houses of Healing. This is where Theoden, Eowyn, Merry, and the people who are carrying Theoden, Eowyn, and Merry. I think Merry's still walking at this point.
yeah, he's walking.
Not for very much longer, though. He got black breathed too. They come into the city. They are taken to the Houses of Healing. Pippin finds Merry. And I want to point out the sheer level of difference between the movie and this, and maybe the movie's even a little better, which
Oh
I
my
don't
God.
often say.
Oh my
In
God.
the movie,
Who are you? What have you done with Ben?
They find all these people on the battlefield after everything's over. The Houses of the Healing scene is not in the movie at all.
Yeah, there's also an army of ghosts, so...
Yeah. In the movie, the army of ghosts wipes everything out, and then they survey the battle.
And then you're left wondering, why didn't we send those into Mordor? I mean, I could use an army of ghosts against Mordor.
And then the only problem I have with the movie is it always struck me as kind of cruel, but somewhat understandable that no one is looking for Merry, but nobody really knew he was there. Which is why
a talking bag.
yeah, which is why it's weird when so Pippin finds Merry on the battlefield in the movie, and Merry wakes up and he's like, I knew you'd find me. And Pippin says, I'll look after you. Or I'm going to look after you. In this one, Merry is barely dragging his dying, poisoned body through the gate. And Pippin says, well, Merry, thank goodness I have found you. He runs up to him and he's like, what have you been doing? Oh no! And Pippin's like, "So where's the king and Eowyn?" And
if he had the strength, he would channel Gandalf and tell Pippin to shut up.
So Pippin, he tells them that he tells Merry that they're taking him up to the Houses of the Healing, and they realize Theoden's long past healing. Had a whole horse fall on him. And so...
That shitty horse. I hate him. Let's make sure that we shit on that horse on Theoden's epitaph.
So they lay Theoden out in state before the throne of Gondor. And they take Eowyn up to the Houses of the Healing. There's a couple of those World War II... or World War I was totally normal quotes. Pippin mentions to Merry that they shouldn't really have let him walk up here on his own. Obviously, Merry needs healing too, and he's sort of trying to carry Merry as if they've walked up the 7, stories of Gondor, or the 7 stories of Minas Tirith. They're not. Merry's fading a little bit, and Pippin's holding him up and walking with him, and he's taking more and more of that weight. Pippin says, they shouldn't have let you walk in here. They should have carried you up too, but you're going to have to forgive them because so many people have died today that they just overlooked one small hobbit. And that's when Merry, gazing off into the distance, not really seeing what's in front of him, but seeing something else, says, "It's not always a misfortune being overlooked. I was overlooked just now by... No, I can't speak of it again. Help me, Pippin. Everything's getting kind of dark. And why are my limbs so cold?" And then he collapses. Merry asks Pippin if Pippin is going to bury him. And Pippin says, "No, we're going to the houses of healing. You're going to get better. You're going to be fine." Eventually, Gandalf stops by looking for Pippin. And once he probably heard that Merry was with him at this point. So Gandalf's looking for the hobbits. And he looks at Merry and he's like, "He should have been born in honor to this city. He has repaid well my trust. For if Elrond had not yielded to me," and this is the nicest thing Gandalf ever says to Pippin.
Yes, I made note of that as well.
And he's kind of mostly saying it about Merry. "If Elrond had not yielded to me, neither of you would have set out, and then far more grievous would the evils of this day have been." And he sighed and says, "And yet here is another charge on my hands, while all the time the battle hangs in the balance."
And they're like, well, what happened to him? Oh, yeah, that Nazgul that Pippin prevented Gandalf from running after, that happened to him. It was a bit of a whoopsie, Pippin.
Well,
maybe don't tell that to Merry.
But at this very moment, in poetic fashion, the two hobbits who set out saved the two kingdoms of men, basically. Merry saved Rohan by enabling Éowyn to kill the Witch King, and Pippin saved Gondor by rescuing Faramir from the pyre. We have the two hobbits who weren't supposed to be there, two kingdoms, both saved by their humble actions. And so at last, Faramir, Éowyn, Merry are all put into the houses of healing. And I love the Old English word leechcraft for the medical profession. We need to bring that back. For though all lore was in these latter days fallen from its fullness of old, the leechcraft of Gondor was still wise. And, it's like if you're calling it leechcraft, I don't know. I feel like maybe it wasn't as good as you thought it was back in the day.
Shut up. How about that, Ben? How about shut up?
I know why it's leechcraft in Old English, but that's not Numenor, right? Surely Numenor could do a little better than just... you've either got too much blood or not enough blood, but that's the cause of most illnesses, so...
Hey, don't forget about black and yellow bile.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to punch you in the liver and I'm going to take some of your blood. And if that doesn't get you feeling better, I'll come back tomorrow and
phlegm. It was phlegm. I was going to say phlegm, but then I was like, that doesn't sound right. But no, it's phlegm, black, yellow bile, and blood.
Yeah.
So, we need to inject you with some phlegm, I guess.
Yeah. So even though Gondor has arguably the best leechcraft you're going to find, they still can't cure the Black Breath or measles or cholera.
How do we know that the Black Breath isn't measles or smallpox or something?
They're struggling with strep throat.
They're struggling with strep throat.
We've almost got it. Yeah, we've almost got it licked. The trick to strep throat is you got to take the blood right out of the throat,
and then you got to replace it with phlegm. You just
yeah.
Just let me die. Don't do that.
Yeah. So, these doctors and the nurses, which I wonder, as some doctors and nurses go by behind me. Do
No,
you?
those are EMTs.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Don't lump them in with us. Okay.
I feel like the EMTs might have an even more stressful job.
Oh, they definitely do, but we still have to look down on them. So they do a good job, or they burn out and we replace them.
So the doctors and nurses. This is what I was going to ask you: is in olden times, back
Yeah,
when they were called.
I saw a comic. Maybe it was Saturday morning breakfast here. I don't know. Why don't we have any old time medical dramas where we're like,
That'd be good. That'd be good.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a lot of guys going like
this woman has this guy's been afflicted by witchcraft. Quick, we got to get him stable so that we can make sure that he watches the trial.
Pee on him. Everybody pee on him.
Get him.
No. I was going to ask.
We're going to create a big old fire that will cleanse the air. And if he was afflicted by a hex, we can throw the witch on there at the same time. 2 jobs, 1 fire.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they were a lot more efficient. They used the whole witch.
They used the whole witch, exactly.
No, I was going to ask, do you know, did they have like a nurse equivalent in old-timey leechcraft?
Yeah, but they were usually like prostitutes, and like they were not looked fondly upon, but they were an extra pair of hands.
Huh.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Nursing had some not so great origins until it was worked into an actual profession.
That is something we should cover on Words About Books. That's a bonus episode. I want to know more about that, but we have to move on. Finally, they're all talking, and Gandalf's sitting there looking out windows, going, "They're afflicted by the Black Breath, or maybe measles, or cholera, or strep throat, or any other disease that requires medication of any kind at all. So it's beyond our power. God, I don't know what to do." But then the nurse, who is not a prostitute.
That's good. I mean, I guess they could also have been like religious, like nuns and whatnot too. Like they weren't all prostitutes. But that was something that stuck out. That was like, oh,
yeah. I mean,
it was associated with a lot of things throughout time. So maybe this was like a religious sort of, not like a head of a religion. I mean, she is a woman. Let's not get carried away here. But like, she might have been, in that caste rather than a lady of ill repute.
It seems like they have relatively modern nurses in Gondor, and these apothecaries are also like relatively. I want to say,
did she pass the NCLEX? Did she pass? What's her ID number? What's her license number?
5.
5? I was gonna say it's probably like a one single digit.
Are they sequential? I don't know. But she is, and I might butcher this, Eorith. And she says, "Oh, it's such a shame, Mr. Gandalf. If only there were still kings in Gondor, because as they used to say in the old lore, the hands of the king are the hands of a healer."
When did this happen? This would have been great information a while ago.
And Gandalf looked at her and said, "Men may long remember your words, Eorith, for there is hope in them. Maybe a king has indeed returned to Gondor.
And maybe you could kind of spread that around a bit.
Or have you not heard the strange tidings that have come to the city?" And she's like, "No, I've been busy. A lot of dead people coming up. I haven't heard Nobody I've been
Put
seeing
some
has
more
been talking.
phlegm in them, idiot. God.
And then
How hard
Gandalf
could
went
it
out in
be?
haste. Just give me more phlegm. I gotta go. You gave me an idea. And then Aragorn is kind of leisurely strolling in. And he thinks that
Well, he doesn't want to enter the city unbidden because he might upset, I assume, Denethor, because he does not realize Denethor is an insane person who was lit on fire and then ran up 12 flights of stairs and then jumped off of a mountain.
he died metal as fuck holding a palantir. No.
And forevermore, if you use that palantir, you see his ghostly burnt hands.
So he's talking to Imrahil, and Imrahil and Éomer are about to head in. Éomer is going to pay his respects to Theoden and presumably Lord Denethor, they think. And
paying respects has been forever tainted because I just keep thinking press F to pay respects.
Yeah. And yeah, and then Prince Imrahil says, "Chat, your words are your words are wise." And he says, "If one who is a kinsman of the Lord Denethor may counsel you in this matter, he is strong-willed and proud, but old, and his moods have been strange since his son was stricken down. But you can't stay out here. I'm not going to make you camp outside the city."
And a lot of us saw him walk into a room and there was a strange, eerie glow, and then he was even stranger after that. But
well, Imrahil didn't see that. He was out fighting Easterlings. So Imrahil and Éomer leave him at the city gates, and they go in. They go in looking for Denethor, but instead of Denethor, they find an empty chair and a dead guy who isn't Denethor. And then,
damn it! It's last Monday all over again.
They find some guards around him. He has been covered with this is a thing because it even popped up in the Odyssey. He's covered with a shroud, and they've laid
like Jesus.
They've laid a sword at his feet, and they're wondering, where is the steward? Where is Mithrandir? And they say that the steward of Gondor, thank you for using his title and not his name. The steward of Gondor, yes, he is in the houses of the healing.
Yep. Yep.
And Mithrandir is with him. And Éomer says, "Where is the Lady Éowyn, my sister? For surely she should be lying beside the king, and in no less honor. Where have they bestowed her?"
Well, it turns out you didn't check her breathing or her pulse. Remember, chest compressions, chest compressions, chest compressions, okay? You need to remember that next time.
So here's the thing. They just had like a leisurely talk with Aragorn. They've been presumably walking off the battlefield for some time, Imrahil, Aragorn, Éomer. And it's only at this point that Imrahil turns to Éomer and says, "She's alive. Didn't you know? I told a bunch of people to come take her into the city. You went charging right away from her. I thought you knew."
You didn't think to... Okay. No, that's fine. No. I can't see straight right now. All the rage pumping through my body. But
Éomer literally, his face like goes slack, and then he runs out of the room. Runs up
yelling
to the
something like, "Today might be the last day on Earth. To death! To death!"
We ride for ruin and the world's ending. Shit. And then they come up and they find Gandalf. at the houses of the healing. And they say, "We seek the steward, and men say that he is in this house. Has any hurt befallen him? Is Denethor okay?" And Gandalf's like, Eowyn's fine. Eowyn, not dead. Very near death. Not dead, though. Mostly dead. Not all dead. Big difference between mostly dead and all dead. Now, Denethor. Well, let me tell you about Faramir. Faramir, not dead. Mostly dead. Big difference, though. Still something we could work with there. Denethor, though. Yeah, he's all the way dead. And in fact, not even a body. He was burned to ash. And then Gandalf they do a yada yada where it's like, and then Gandalf told them the story. And they were like, holy shit. What did we miss? Denethor,
you missed the last few chapters of this book, actually.
You're telling me Denethor set himself on fire?
Yeah, he didn't win the title from Austin, so he had to do it. Someone will get that reference. Someone almost certainly who wouldn't possibly be listening to this podcast.
And then Imrahil says the important part. "So victory is shorn of gladness, and it is bitter bought, if both Gondor and Rohan are in one day bereft of their lords. Eomer rules the Rohirrim, but who shall lead this city meanwhile? Shall we not send now for the Lord Aragorn?" And then a cloaked figure behind them says, "He has come." It's me, Aragorn. Sometimes I sneak into places.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
I kind of grew up out in the wilderness, so it's going to take a while to get used to things like bathing and whatnot. And you're just going to have to get used to it. I'm king.
I often show up in corners wearing a cloak. It's actually how I met these hobbits. It's funny because one of the hobbits, I think it's like Pippin calls him Strider at some point. We'll talk about that in a second. And Imrahil, who is like, a prince and raised in decorum and etiquette. It's just like, oh, so we're just doing nicknames now? We're just calling the king Longshanks or whatever? Okay, sure. It's going to be that kind of kingdom now. Imrahil's looking at them like, it's hippie parents that let their children call them by their first names. But Aragorn is not here to claim the crown quite yet, but he is here as the captain of the Dunedain. And he's here because Gandalf sent for him.
Yeah, he was sent for, so it's okay.
And then Gandalf is like, "No, come on in, Aragorn. If there's any hope for the sick, it lies with you. For this lady," and he pulls Eoreth out and puts her in front of him. And he's like, "This lady told us a thing. She said, the hands of the king are the hands of a healer, and so shall the rightful king be known." And Aragorn, we're gonna ask you to do your best Jesus impression, okay? It's okay when Aragorn does it. It's not like a Trump thing. So Aragorn, he goes in there. He's just a doctor. He's not Jesus. Oh, it's evergreen content. It's gonna be 2 news cycles before we all forget that.
No, he'll do it again. He just can't help himself.
And when he enters, he's greeted with surprise and joy. "Strider, how splendid! Do you know, I guessed it was you on the black ships, but they were all shouting Corsairs and wouldn't listen. How did you do it?" And Aragorn laughed, and he takes the hobbit by the hand, does their secret handshake, and he's like, "We'll have to tell tales later." And that's when Imrahil turns to Eomer and says, it's like, "Oh, so that's how we're going to talk to the king now. Okay." And,
yeah. His house shall be Strider.
Yes, and I loved that. Because Aragorn says, "Verily, for in the high tongue of old, I am Elisar, the Elfstone, and Envinyatar, the Renewer. And he lifted from his breast the green stone that lay there. That's actually a really important stone. I think that might be out of the Silmarillion. He says, "But Strider shall be the name of my house, if that be ever established. And in the high tongue, it will not sound so ill." So he is taking the name Strider, but he's taking it in French, you know? And so...
As you do.
And so
you are an Englishman.
Telcontar will be the name of me and all the heirs of my body. And he's like, all right, let's see if I can heal these people. And he walks in, he looks at Eowyn, he goes first to Faramir, and he's like, oh boy. Like, well, I sure wish Elrond was here with his magic healing ring. Could have at least sent the ring with me. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. First, Éomer, get out. You're making everybody nervous. Second.
Keep talking about the end of the world. It's really kind of freaking us out, you know?
Ruin, death. A red day. A sword day. No, he's like, Eorith, have you have store in this house of the herbs of healing, which is a weird way to say that. It's funny because when he talks to Merry and Pippin, he talks normal in the same chapter, and then he switches to this weird like verse. You have store in this house of the herbs of healing. She's like, yeah, not enough, but you know, we got some herbs. What do you need? I got all the good ones. I got reefer. I got milk of the poppy. Cocaine. Not tobacco.
Sorry,
though.
What was that last one?
we only use tobacco for the flour. And he says, "Do you have Ethelas?" And she's like, "I don't know, at least not by that name. We could go talk to the herb master. He knows all the names."
Does he know all the names in several languages. He just won't shut up about all the names.
Aragorn says, "I've also heard it called Kingsfoil. Do you have any of that?" And she's like, "Oh, that. Well, no, we don't have that because it doesn't have any medicinal properties."
Yeah, we often just throw that shit out.
It grows in the woods, and some people still gather it. It smells nice when you crush it up, but
yeah, it does.
I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't do anything though. It has no medicinal properties. Trust me, the head apothecary told me it doesn't have any medicinal properties. And Aragorn says, "Well, tell you what, if you want to save any lives here today, you'll find some." And it turns out that some of the older people in the city keep Kingsfoil, and they keep it because it heals certain aches and pains. And so she goes out looking for that, and I guess on her way out, she told the herb master that she's got to go find some Ethelas. And this is one I highlighted because this is how deep this guy's lore goes. He's got a lot of theory behind him. Not as much practice, but a lot of theory.
God, yeah. Boy, does he.
"Ah, your lordship asked for Kingsfoil, as the rustics name it. Or Athelas in the noble tongue. Or to those who know somewhat of the Valinorian." And Aragorn says, "I do. And I don't care whether you call it this, that, or the other thing." Aragorn names a bunch of words. "So long as you get some." And he's like, "I'm telling you, dude, it doesn't have any medicinal properties, unless, of course, you give heed to the old rhymes of old days, of which our women, such as good Eorith, still repeat. When the black breath blows and the death's shadow grows and all light pass, come Athelas, life to the dying in the king's hand lying. But that doesn't apply to anything that's happened here. I don't know what that poem's even supposed to mean. And Aragorn is like, if you don't get me some fucking Athelas right now, I'm going to light you on fire and throw you off the top of the building. They do finally get him some Athelas. And so Aragorn crushes it up and throws it into some boiling water. And immediately it cleanses the room. And there's a soothing steam that everybody who breathes in just finds themselves in like their happy place. Suddenly everybody's just in like the best place they could possibly be. And then Aragorn enters Faramir's mind.
Yeah.
There is a Tolkien letter. I wish I should have found it for this episode. I didn't think about it until just now. There is a letter where somebody asks him if humans can do magic, and he specifically references Aragorn using magic to heal people. And I think Tolkien says that Aragorn had great skill at healing, but he doesn't know if he'd call anything Aragorn did magic necessarily. And if it was, it's okay because Aragorn's not, strictly speaking, a man. He's got other magical elements in his genetic makeup, but he's definitely doing magic. He goes into Faramir's dream and like interferes with it. So Aragorn, he knelt beside Faramir and held a hand upon his brow. And for those that watched felt that some strange great struggle was going on. For Aragorn's face grew gray with weariness, and ever and anon he called the name of Faramir, but each time more faintly to their hearing, as if Aragorn himself was removed from them, and walked afar in some dark vale, calling for one that was lost. And then eventually Faramir wakes up and says, "My lord, you called me, and I come. What does my king command?" So like they definitely had some kind of psychic communication. And I like how Tolkien tries to play that off as like nothing magical going on.
That's just what kings do. That's why we need to bring the monarchy back.
So he goes to Eowyn next. And they talk about how the darkness had been growing in Eowyn for quite some time, hadn't it? And I absolutely love this because Eomer's there and he's like, I have no idea what you guys are talking about. Eowyn was like so happy until this very minute when I don't even know how she got here. And she was loving life. She loves me. She loves the king. She was super happy like that he put her in charge all the time. And yeah, I don't know what you could be talking about. And Gandalf is like, Eomer, you're good at horse stuff, but you're not so good at brain stuff. And
how nice. Thanks.
You had your horses and your deeds of arms and the free fields, but she, born in the body of a maid, had a spirit and courage at least the match of yours. Yet she was doomed to wait upon an old man whom she loved as a father, and watched him fall into mean and dishonorable dotage. And her part seemed to her more ignoble than that of the staff he leaned on. And mentions that the things that Saruman said, the things that Wormtongue said, if your sister had not restrained her lips, you might have heard even such things as these escape them. But who knows what she spoke to the darkness alone? Eomer looks on and he's like, wow, I had no idea, and there were no signs, and she never tried to tell me.
Who could have seen this coming? No one.
It's
No
always
one
the
could have
quiet
seen
ones
this.
who
Yeah.
never even make an attempt to explain their feelings to you. If only she'd been born with a man's honesty as well as a man's courage. But anyway, Aragorn, he does the thing. He cracks the king's foil, boils it, and he enters into her mind palace.
Yeah.
She began to breathe deeply. Then, whether Aragorn had indeed some forgotten power of Westerness, or whether it was but his words of the Lady Eowyn. Awake, Eowyn, Lady of Rohan! He cast a spell. He had to cast it a couple times. He's like, awake! And then he says, call her, people! I need help. Everybody get around and shout her name. I think she has the strep. And they all start shouting her name, and then she's like, oh, what? I'm awake.
Quick, everyone spit on her. Give her some of that phlegm. We gotta save her.
She wakes up and she says, Eomer, what joy is this? For they said you were slain. Nay, but maybe that was only the dark voices in my dream. She says, how long have I been dreaming? Oh God, has it been years? Am I old now? And Eomer's like, no. It's been like a couple hours. And honestly, I would have brought you here faster, but Imrahil, he wasn't sure you were alive, and so like I had to go off and fight a battle. But no, we definitely got you medical treatment as quickly as we possibly could have, and I don't think there's going to be any brain damage. Oh boy, Aragorn, I don't know if there's brain damage. You're gonna have to pull that plug. Okay, so
I'm just the king, so yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm not the king yet. I'm just
Not
a guy
my
in a
monkeys,
cloak.
not my circus. So
Just a guy in a cloak.
Bye.
Hammerhill's. I'm not by yet because there's a hobbit.
I guess. You're taking longer to describe this than I think Tolkien did. He was just like
No,
and
he
we're
didn't.
out.
It's like 2 pages per person.
Yeah, we
You
got
gotta
through it
boil
pretty
the
quick,
Athelas. You gotta do the thing. You gotta. So anyway, it gets back to Mary, and he's gonna be able to heal Mary because Mary's the main character. So he does the stuff, and he does the thing, and he says, "Mary, wake the fuck up." And Mary wakes the fuck up. Mary's actually doing better than all of them, and they comment. A lot of the humans are amazed, and they're like, "God damn, these hobbits, man! They bounce back quick. They're still vulnerable to evil, and if one was pushed too far, I do think they'd break. But fortunately, that'll probably never happen.
Yeah.
Because what force could there be darker than the Black Breath?
Yeah. I don't see what it could possibly be.
Aragorn, now he disappears. He sneaks back to his tent. And in the morning, the sigil of Prince Imrahil flies above the White Tower as he has taken control of the city in Denethor's absence and Faramir's indisposal. And the people of the Houses of the Healing are left to wonder if the king's return was but a dream. But it wasn't. He's totally king. And the rumors are spreading.
Nice. That sounds nice.
What sounds nice? Having a king?
Having a competent leader who goes around and tries to heal people.
Tolkien was one of those. What was it? Was it Plato that said the ideal ruler is the benevolent monarch, or like the ideal system of government?
Yeah.
Tolkien very much subscribed to that. We've talked about it a few times, but that was one of his big pipe dreams, I guess I would say. I don't even know if it really stands as a political opinion, but he was kind of a monarchist. he really thought that things were better when men knew their leaders and it wasn't just a gaggle of quasi-elected officials and nobody really knew what anyone was doing. There was like one voice.
And then there was some people behind that person, or maybe a corporation just dumping money. And suddenly the king, who isn't a king, but we'll call him a president, is like, you know what? I hate X, Y, and Z. And you're like, why? And he pulls out his list of talking points, which were handed to him by a guy who gave him a bunch of money.
Yeah, that was honestly Tolkien's point. He liked the honesty of a king. I will say, for my part, I also like an aspect of kingship. I liked it back when none of us rode to battle unless your ass rode first. That was a great system.
Put him on that destroyer. Send him out.
Yeah, back when the king had to get on a horse and march his happy ass to the battlefield. At least to be on the battlefield. I mean, God, that was bad enough leading from the back, but he had to be there. He had to be there to physically lead it. So there's, Tolkien's definitely, that is if you had a criticism of his work that I think really sticks, it's that simplistic, highly idealized, wishful portrayal of kingship and nobility and all of that just being such a better way to do things than the way we do it now. I don't know that it is, but it's just a weird chapter. It's just kind of weird and out of place and feels detached from everything else. I don't know if you got that.
No.
Then with that, join us next time. This season of talking about Tolkien is going pretty fast.
Yeah, it is. That's what happens when we actually record every week.
The road goes ever on and on, down from the door which began. Now far ahead the road is gone, and I must follow it, if I can, pursuing it with eager feet until it joins some larger way, where many paths and errands meet. And whither then, I cannot say.